Welcome to FlexyTime. If you haven't done so yet, please grab yourself a nice big cup of water and take a sip and get ready for a nice relaxing session of low impact movements that's designed to build you up. So we're going to start face down and we're going to push our chest up and let our hips sink gently into the ground. And I'll show you what that looks like. And we're going to take nice deep breaths all throughout this routine here. Let's stay relaxed. Deep breaths in through the nose. Feel the air go into the belly. Breathe out. Now, throughout this routine, if there's any position that makes you feel uncomfortable, feel free to do any movement or position that you like, or you can have a water break with that cup of water that you just took here. A couple more seconds here before we transition into the next position. All right, now we're gonna lay face down, arms out to the side, and let's get the right foot going left like this. And once again, nice deep breaths. You're doing really good. We've got about 15 more seconds, and then we're gonna switch to the other side. All right, now we are gonna switch to the other side. Let's get the left foot going right. And once again, nice deep breaths. All right, now we're going to shift the hips back and get our arms forward and sink into this position here. And deep breaths all throughout this routine. Okay, so now we're going to shift the hips slightly forward. They're going to be over the knees. And now we get the chest into the ground. And this is a nice stretch for the upper back. going to get one arm forward and then the other arm through like this and sink slowly down. All right, and now we are going to get the other arm forward and then thread the other arm through. We are switching sides. Still nice deep breaths. You guys are doing great. Okay, so now we're going to get on hands and knees and we are going to lay one leg across our chest and the other leg back. And we're going to sink into this pose. And this front leg is going to go as far up on our chest as possible. All right, now we're going to switch sides and we're going to get the other leg forward and lay it across the chest. And then the other leg is going back and we're sinking into this pose. Okay, so now this stretch is a bit challenging. We're going to get the knees out to the side like this, and we're going to get those hips as far back as we can. And we are sinking that chest as far into the ground as we can. And like we said before, if this is uncomfortable, feel free to do any of the other stretches that we've already done, or take a water break and join us on the next stretch. And let's remember to take nice, deep breaths. All right, now we're going to transition into a kneeling position like this. And we're going to slowly sit back on our heels. And after we do so, we are going to get one elbow on top of the other like this. Deep breaths. What you might want to start experimenting with now is a nice deep breath and then hold it for a couple seconds before you breathe out. All right, now we're going to come up for a quick second, shake it off, and then we're going to sit back on our heels and then get the other elbow on top. Deep breaths, holding it for a couple seconds before we breathe out again. Okay, so now we're going to come up for a second, shake it off. And now we're going to sit back on our heels and then lean as far back as we can. If this is uncomfortable, we can just stay upright. And like we've said, if this stretch is too challenging, let's do another one that we like or take a water break and then meet us on the next one. All right, now we are going to get the right leg forward and the left leg back. And we're going to lean into this long lunge position here. Deep breaths. Feel the belly expand with air. All right, now other leg forward. And it's important to stay relaxed and breathe throughout this whole routine. This is mostly for stress relief. So we're putting aside all the worries of the day. We are convinced we need this time to ourselves. This is important. Okay, so now we're going to shift the hips back and until this front leg is straight, and we are going to gently lean the chest in toward this straight leg. If all we got is this, that's totally fine. But with time, the more we do this, the more range of motion that we will achieve. And we're looking for that chest to get close to the knee while the leg is staying straight. All right, now we're going to switch to the other leg. Straight out in front of us, hips are back, and we are leaning gently in toward this knee. All right, now this is going to be a little bit more active here. We're going to be on our hands and knees, and then we're going to raise the opposite arm and the opposite leg, and then we're going to switch sides. We're going to keep alternating back and forth, and we're holding the top of this for about a second or two on each side, focusing on getting that back leg as high up as we can. All right, now this is going to get really active. We're going to get into a squat hold. So the feet are shoulder width apart, and we sit back and get as low as we can while keeping the chest up and putting the knees out to the side. And we are actively pushing the knees out to the side, keeping the chest up. Now this is a very challenging position. Let's just get as low as we can. Or if this is too challenging, let's take a water break and let's meet us on the next position. Deep breaths. So now we're going to transition, getting the hands on the ground, pushing both heels into the ground, and piking up as high as we can, and really feeling the stretch in both of our calves. Now it should be noted, if this is hard for us to do because of our wrists, then we can do this against the wall, or we can do this against a counter, or against the sofa, or another soft surface that's inclined to take the pressure off the wrists. Now we are going to bend one knee and then push the opposite heel further into the ground to feel more of the stretch in that leg. All right, now let's bend the other knee and push that other heel into the ground. And like we said, for the other stretch, this is the same position. If we need to hold our wrists against another surface, such as a sofa or a wall or a counter, the target area is the calves, so that is totally fine. Let's remember our deep breathing. All right, now we're going to get into another active position here. We're going to get our arms overhead while we take a nice long lunge forward like this. And this is very challenging. So if we want to take a water break, that's totally fine. Or if we want to do another stretch that we like, that's okay too. And what we're going to do now is twist toward the front knee. All right, now we're going to take another long lunge with the other leg forward, arms overhead, until that knee touches the ground and we are leaning into this position with the arms overhead. And let's now twist toward this front knee. Remembering our deep breaths all throughout. All right, now this one is going to be very challenging. We are going to get our hands on the ground and then we are going to split our legs as much as we can while supporting ourselves. And it's understandable if we want to take a water break at this point, but let's try what we can. And then the more we do this routine, maybe we'll get closer and closer to being able to support this position. take this down to the ground, and we are going to straddle our legs out to the side and then reach forward as far as we can. Deep breaths. And you are doing great. Once again, you deserve this. You need this. This is important. Now we're going to bring our legs together and we're going to reach as far forward as we can. If we could reach the toes, great. If we're not quite there, that's okay. We're trying our best, and that's all we can ask. Okay, so now we're going to bend our left foot into our right knee, and we're going to reach forward toward our right foot. You're doing great. Now we're going to switch sides, other leg forward, and we are bending the right foot now into the left knee, and we are reaching toward the left foot. Okay, and now we're going to pull both feet in toward our hips, and we are putting gentle pressure down on each leg. If we want, we can flap the wings like this. Otherwise, just progressively more gentle pressure pushing down to really open up the hips. We're going to go into a passively active hold here. We're going to lay on our back and we are going to squeeze our glutes to get our hips as high as we can into the air. And we are holding this as long as we can. If we can hold it the whole time, great. If we need to take a break, that's okay as well. And let's get our hips higher and higher and higher. All right, now we're laying on our back. We have our arms up, legs up, and we are going to alternate opposite arm, opposite leg, moving back and forth like this. Right now, let's get the right knee into the chest, and we're going to twist toward the left and pull down on that knee with the left hand. And let's take some really deep breaths here. Feel that belly fill with air. Hold it for about 10 seconds before you breathe out. Okay, other side. We are getting the left knee into the chest. We are twisting toward the right, pulling down on that knee with the right hand. Deep breaths. All right, now let's just relax. We're going to lay on our back and breathe naturally for about a minute. Deep breaths in and out. you fell asleep there, it's time to wake up. Or if you want to lay there for a little bit longer, that's totally fine too. But thank you so much for taking this time to do something important for yourself, to build yourself up. And the full FlexyTime playlist has each individual stretch we just did today. If you want to go back and hit a particular stretch that felt the best, feel free to go through that playlist and pick whichever one is your favorite. Thank you so much, and make sure you drink a whole lot of water right now. You've earned it. And see you next time.